Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you check the link out above to my Patreon page. I'm back with round 2 of a modern friendly league with Benthic Biomancer and Deprives in the main deck. I won the die roll for round 2, and this opening hand looks amazing. Hopefully we'll get to see some action from Benthic Biomancer. Opponent's starting off on 6 cards, so slight advantage for us. And we'll start off with our new 1-drop. So this is pretty hilarious. The opponent has played Golgari Rot Farm, which is one of those Karu lands that Amulet plays. And this is just going to bounce back to his hand. I think this was just a misclick by the opponent, so I guess these things happen. Or maybe he's just flexing on me. So Deprive means we don't really have a good 2-drop to play here. So I guess I could probably just adapt Ben and loot at this point. Hoping to hit lands, I guess, here. Well, a Lord is okay. Given the state of the development here, I think we can probably pitch one of these Deprives. Swing with Ben for 2. That's not something we typically get to do with mono blue Merfolk, is attack for 2 with our blue 1-drops. Especially when they're alone on the board. So here's an Amulet, and the opponent just passed the turn. All right, so we're definitely in no danger. We can just play out a Lord, pass the turn. I get 1 life from Grove of the Burnwillows. We see Ancient Stirrings. Go ahead and open that tab over there. Gemstone Mine, not that crazy. So here's that Rot Farm again. Let's see if they have a play with that mana. Well, it looks like they don't. Huh, so I drew a land. We have a few options here. I can play Ben number 2 and just hold up mana to adapt him. If they cast something that we don't like, I can play Deprive. Alternatively, I could play Lord of Atlantis and just get pretty aggressive. Another line is to play Spreading Seas. Hopefully, hit another land and just sort of open up our development a little bit more. If you play Spreading Seas on a Karu land, the way that it works out is, it takes them off of, first of all, their colors. This land can only produce blue at that point. And then they have to bounce it back to their hand and replay it, which then bounces another land. So it can be quite a tempo setback. And since we're sort of sitting pretty here, I thought that maybe that was a good way to go here. Let's get our 5 damage in. And then second main, let's go ahead and hit this Golgari Rot Farm. Drew another Benthic Biomancer, so play that guy out. Currently have 7 power on the board. The opponent's at 10, so this Lord would make it lethal if he doesn't get something on the table. Alright, so he bounces the other Rot Farm back to his hand. Got 3 mana, and we see Trinket Mage. So Trinket Mage lets him get an artifact that costs 1 or less, so they're typically getting an Amulet or Engineered Explosives off of this thing. And we see another Amulet. But because their mana is kind of all weird, they actually can't play it this turn. It's funny how he was able to use the blue mana to cast Trinket Mage. Alright, so for our turn, I drew that 4th land, which is decent. We can play a Lord, and we can hold up mana to adapt or to cast Deprive. Crack in. Trinket Mage is almost surely going to jump in front of the Benthic Biomancer. That's a 4/4. And takes 6. Alright, so the pressure's on. I've got Counterspell backup in the main deck. Yeah, and pretty easy stuff. The opponent did make a ridiculous misplay on turn 1, but I was able to capitalize on it. Able to see the value of these little 1-drops. It's pretty sweet. I've been enjoying this card a whole lot. Alright, let's go to game 2, check out sideboarding strategy and how that game went. All right, back for game 2. Let's check the sideboard. So we have some interesting stuff to bring in for this matchup. I don't bring in any graveyard stuff, so that's 7 cards that stayed in the sideboard. But then I believe I brought 8 spells in. First of all, we bring in the Singletons, the Echoing Truth, to supplement the Singleton in the main deck. Brought in the Singleton Clique to supplement the main deck and the Singleton in the main deck, so that's 2 cards in. Brought in the 2 Tidebinder Mages, pretty solid against Primeval Titan. Then brought in 2 Vensers, It's pretty good to be able to, if they cast a Primeval Titan, you can just bounce the spell, you know, sort of remand it almost, and then they won't get enters the battlefield triggers. So Venser pretty good in the matchup. And then I brought in the extra 2 counter spells in the Wizard's Retorts. So that's 8 spells in. One more time, it's an Echoing Truth, a Vendilion Clique, 2 Tidebinder Mages, 2 Vensers, and 2 counter spells. And then these 8 cards come out. I took out 3 Spreading Seas. Having a singleton is okay because if they bring in some sideboard tech like Hornet Queen where they kind of go wide, we can sometimes want to push through with Island Walk. But it's really not the best card in the matchup. You guys saw the point I was making in Game 1 about how it's kind of a tempo blowout to put a Spreading Seas on a Karu land, provided that they can't get a Susa down and just make like 3 more land drops. And then I took out a couple of Lords, 2 Harbingers. I only have 2 Harbingers. These guys are pretty poor in the matchup since Primeval Titan is almost always attacking with Vigilance from Sunhome or whatever that land is that gives it haste and Vigilance. So, yeah, took out the 2 Harbingers, can't bounce things that don't tap. 2 Lords, because our interactive cards like Trickster and card drawing spells, Silvergill, are just better in this matchup. And took out a single Master of Waves because it can be a really fast matchup. And we brought in the 2 Vensers, so we don't want too many 4-drops. So those are the 8 cards out, and yeah, those are the 8 cards in. Opponent's going to be on the play. And this is a keep. We've got turn 2 play with Silvergill Adept, and we're on the draw, so hopefully we'll hit another land. Let's see what they've got this game. All right, turn 1 Amulet. Not bad out of the Amulet player. Echoing Truth, nice piece of interaction. We'd really rather draw lands at this point. All right. What's going on over there? So the opponent bounced the forest without playing anything. This is like the slowest I've ever seen Amulet play. They must have kept a hand with just like lands and Primeval Titan or something. Well, there's a land. That's wonderful. So I think we just want to play this Silvergill Adept here. Yeah, and revealed Master of Waves. Trickster is really, really valuable as hidden information, so I'd prefer not to reveal that guy. And having 2 Tricksters, you should feel pretty good in this matchup. If they need to go really all in on their Primeval Titans, and Merfolk Trickster is like a time walk that develops our board. It's pretty incredible. All right, so if Asuva is going to copy Mutavault, it's possible this guy is either like new to this deck or like totally next level. But this seems interesting to me. I guess he wants blockers. So this is his turn 3, and he's only got access to 3 mana. That's not how the deck is supposed to work. A Lord. So now we've got Vendilion Clique mana, and that is very, very easy decision. If you have Vendilion Clique mana against a deck like this, you just want to do it during their draw step. The opponent looked like he thought about activating Mutavault to trade, but I have a feeling he needs that mana, so just taking 2 seems smart. I'm going to pause him on his draw step and see what he's working with over there. I've been loving Vendilion Clique. I really like having a single copy in the main deck because it's another instant speed effect that we can use in combination with like Deprive and Merfolk Trickster and Ben's Adapt ability. All right, so what do you got? Assassin's Trophy, Primeval Titan, and then 5 lands. So including Sunhome and Slayer Stronghold. The Slayer Stronghold is the one that gives Vigilance, Haste, and +2. Sunhome is the one that gives Double Strike. So yeah, easy choice. Take that Primeval Titan and hopefully basically just win the game. So they play Simic Growth Chamber. We can go ahead and hide this. If you guys don't do this with keeping the Revealed Cards tab open, try to keep close track of what they've got in their hand, you should probably be doing that. Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like they drew anything great to play. So we're going to, I think, probably go to attacks here. If they use that Assassin's Trophy to blow up my Vendilion Clique, I can just click him again on the next draw step, and we're getting closer and closer to... Well, he's taking the damage, so maybe he's not going to hit the Vendilion Clique. We can leave up a lot of instant speed stuff here. Trickster, Vendilion Clique, Echoing Truth, another Trickster. We just pass. I mean, We're in the driver's seat here. We know that he's not working with much. So I've seen this plenty where people will take damage and then remove the creature, and it's kind of baffling. I'm not sure I understand the nuance of the play there, but I'll take it because having another land pretty good for us in this spot. And I've got another click anyway, so opponent's giving us everything. Giving us lands, making it good for us to play the second click. You know, maybe he drew another Titan. Let's check it out. We can hide these cards and see what he's got now. Okay, 7 lands. not very scary. You can keep all those. Colony Garden. Now I could tap that thing or bounce it if I had lethal next turn, but I don't think I do anyway. Another land. Go play Trickster. We'd like to draw just like a straight up counterspell here. Another Master of Waves is not the best. So we can keep leaning. If the opponent doesn't do anything next turn, I'll just flash in a Trickster for another body, probably. Engineered Explosives on 3. I don't know. This is weak stuff. I mean, he's got the worst hand I've ever seen, so I guess Engineered Explosives is a decent top deck. But if he goes for it, I could just Echoing Truth my click and then click him again. Mutavault, we'll play that. Activate the Mutavault. And just go to attacks, I guess. This is just shy of lethal, but I'm not in a huge rush. Alright, so he's going to try to kill Vendilion Clique, and I am going to bounce that back to my hand. We don't have mana up to draw step click him here, but we do have Trickster if he went for Primeval Titan. And yeah, that's the power of the interactive Merfolk deck. You take out their single powerful card with click, and the rest is history. Now, I'm being a little bit unfair since the guy apparently drew really poorly. But yeah, I feel like this is a much better matchup with the counterspells in the main deck. And again, Benthic Biomancer just adds to the flexibility that leaving 2 mana up provides us. So, beat 8-Whack, beat Amulet Titan. Please leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Patreon page and tune in for the next video where I'll be going to round 3. I'll see you there.